podcast of Philanthropists, your fundraising therapist. I'm Dave Garamella, CEO, founder of the Giving Collaborative. We are a full-service philanthropy and management consulting firm based in New Haven, Connecticut. And my background is serving not-for-profits, now for over 30 years. So that definitely does not put me in alignment with today's guest, who is just an amazing woman who talks nationally. And that's frankly how we met at conferences, about the importance of partnering with millennials of high net worth, and how both their insight and their wealth are crucial to not-for-profit success. So just a little bit about today's guest. Sarah Landman lives down in Naples, Florida. So she's in sunny climes down in Southwest Florida, but originally hails from Minnesota and Winona. She's a native of Winona, Minnesota, for any of you out there familiar, and has just been involved as a major gift officer, raised close to $500 million in her tenure as a gift officer, but most recently is the senior vice president at Newsbank, which is headquartered down in Naples, and leads their insightful software program component of the company as well. And I guess I'd be amiss to not say she was just named to the 40 under 40 in Gulf Shore Magazine, business magazine down in Naples. So with that, I am going to turn it over, and if there's anything she wanted to add, and then we could dig right into our questions.
No, not really. Just, my background is in relationship-based fundraising, as David mentioned, as a major gift officer and a consultant. And now I'm helping Insightful share donor insights to deepen relationships with nonprofits.
That's pretty amazing. And so what made you move over from being a gift officer to kind of the for-profit resource provider side?
Sure. My consulting career began with recruitment. I was at the conference, and I opened my mouth in a breakout session, and then was recruited to join a consulting firm. So that was how that move was made. And the move to kind of the philanthropy tech side, it was kind of an accidental connection with one of the owners of Newsbank. We had a connection in common. Consulting with them, and loved the software so much, I decided to join them and help them get this started.
That's pretty amazing. That's good stuff. So Sarah, we have spoken in the past, and it's taken us a long time to be able to partner up on something like this. So again, we're excited about it. The whole reason, the genesis of Philanthropists is so insiders and thought leaders like yourself can really share problems, and I could bounce some thoughts off of that and offer some advice if it makes sense. But really, my whole the whole kind of thought process is that I'm going to learn from you, and it's going to help me when I talk to other leaders in the not-for-profit world. So, if you don't mind, share with us, what is your problem you bring to us today?
Well, thanks for having me.
Problem you bring to us today.
Well, thanks for having me, first of all. And my problem, and a problem that I've heard from a number of other high net worth millennial philanthropists, or millennials that represent family foundations, is that in general, we feel kind of underestimated and dismissed at times from the nonprofits that we either already support or that we want to get involved with.
Is it are you dismissed in the fact that they just are not realizing the potential of the generation, or in that, they're just young, they don't know what they're doing, and why the heck would we talk to them?
I think a little bit of both. Historically, I think, as an industry, it's okay. Well, our ideal donor and the lowest hanging fruit, 60 plus, right? So that's part of it. And also, I think there's just a little bit of a disconnect of how to talk to us, how to get our attention. And just not realizing that there are a number of us that have potential. There's the last stat I saw was there's 700,000 millennial millionaires out there. And that by
never would have thought that.
All right. 700,000. And by 2030, with the great wealth transfer, right, that could be anywhere from 30 to 70 trillion dollars, that's set to end up with millennials. So there's current potential and there's also a lot of future potential, but there's not a whole lot of relationship going on right now. And that's a gap.
So what are some of the things that charities need to be doing? Is it the traditional cultivation? Do you want to go to the gala? Do you want to sit on a committee? I'm going to say no, but maybe I'm wrong.
I think the traditional cultivation, as far as like, let's meet face to face and have good, candid conversations. Yes, I think
that still works.
That still works. You just have to go about it in an authentic way. If you show up and say, I want to get to know us, you need to really want to get to know us, listen to the things we care about, and then do what you say you're going to do after that meeting. If you say you're going to do something, we expect that that's going to happen. Communicate impact every step of the way when we do give, when we do show up. We want to be acknowledged quickly. We're used to that, and just have high.
How do you want to be acknowledged? That or is it the traditional sense? Do you want your name on the building, or is it programmatic?
I think it's different for
name on the building, or is it programmatic?
I think it's different for every person, but at a bare minimum, that thank you note that's delivered on time, not 2-3 months later, which happens with good sized gifts. I've heard some pretty icky stories about that.
Absolutely. That's a whole other topic we could talk about someday.
Yeah, it is. Acknowledgement, a call from leadership when it's a gift of a certain size and significance, and just some reporting on why it matters throughout the year before you come and ask again.
Okay. So best practice of being with your donor partner and thanking them hasn't changed. No. It's just being responsive and listening and considering you a peer at the table, not, oh, this is the next generation, we don't have to worry about it.
Yes, definitely. Right. As far as to your mission.
Okay.
When it has something to do with your actual mission and when it's a unique and interesting experience.
Experience. All right. The experience.
Millennials are all about experience. We want, experiences over things, and we want to give where our peers are giving. Peer influence is really important. So a way to get millennials to the table is if you have millennial donors, it's important to pick their brains about, hey, who else in your network may be interested in our mission and how can we engage them? It's just, having those conversations instead of, sitting around a table brainstorming about how you can do social media better, which is, it's also important. We want to know the story of the organization and hear those stories, but, kind of do some resource mapping.
Okay.
Your millennial donors and ask them how they can get their friends involved.
So I guess this is a follow-up in getting millennials involved, or at least kind of uncovering their capacity and their desires on what they want to support. Is it possible for not-for-profits, for charities to do the kind of traditional wealth screen, Google type research, that peer-to-peer research, or is it something a little different?
I mean, I think that can help you figure out who to talk to, right?
Okay.
Talk to an employer relationship-based strategy with everybody. But I know a number of organizations that don't screen anybody under 50, and that's outdated.
Absolutely.
We know you have the tools to do it, right? Same with the research and Google and, information resources like Insightful and other resources. We know that you have ways to know things about us and what's happening in our lives and reach out.
So This just happened to me this week. We are, and we're not going to name names, but we're working with a private Catholic high school up in New England. Great tradition, and we're in the phase prepping for a campaign to do some screenings. And no, we're only going to screen alums from class of '83 and back. Well, first of all, I think that's just ridiculous on a lot of fronts, but you lost out on a lot of potential donors. But that's the norm. That's not the norm. So you've just validated a lot of great points. Can you, and I know this is kind of, we're talking in general about the problem, but you mentioned Insightful can help on some of these things. How could organizations maybe partner with Insightful?
We make it easy to keep track of news sources from around the world.
Okay.
15,000 sources. So there's an easy way for you to follow the people you're interested in knowing real-time information about and have it all show up in one place. So, you get an instant alert that, somebody showed up in an obit or got an award.
Okay.
Or had a baby, got married, those milestones.
Very neat.
And you can use that to follow up.
And does it connect with your CRM? So whatever system you're using, it's fairly easy to give access to your donor, or give your donor base into Insightful so they could talk.
It is. We have an API connection with RENXT.
Okay.
Advanced, and we're working with others.
All right. Good stuff.
We also have an easy file import system. We make it easy, so it's easy to know those things.
Okay.
Real time, and we also have the ability to attach interests to donors and then feed good information about those interests.
All right.
So gift officers can engage with millennial donors or any donor about things that they care about other than their own institution and their gifts.
And you're not locked into only working with a certain segment of the not-for-profit world. So hospitals to schools.
Yep. Anybody that wants more information on donors and the things they care about.
All right, good. I appreciate you sharing that. I think our listeners would like to know. So that's great. On that same kind of street there. So you, as a millennial, high net worth individual, what are you looking for in an organization? And without naming and divulging, but what are the things that kind of get you excited, and how are they keeping you?
I like organizations that have a true impact, that can really show me what's happening, show me that they're winning the problem that they're trying to solve. And also strong leadership, visionary leadership with a vision, leaders that are going to be there and that really believe in the mission of the organization.
Okay.
Those are the things I'm looking for.
Do you take an investment mentality? I know we use, that's consultantese when we're talking to our prospects, right? I mean, our partners that, donors want to invest. Is that true?
It is true. I think especially for myself and my fellow millennial donors that I have these conversations with, we do want investment. We want, a lot of us have young children. I'm 39 years old. There's millennials that are, I think, 40 now. And it goes all the way down to individuals that were born in 1995. We've got young kids and we're 95. We've got young kids and we're looking to invest in the communities we want to be in, education, and just anything that can make the world better. That's where we take that standpoint, and that's important.
Okay. I've heard that, and I have no basis if this is true or not. This is just a conversation with a VP, very experienced VP of advancement. And she shared with me that millennials and even my generation, so I'm 50, so Generation X, I was gonna say class of 70, 1970, we could care less about endowment and kind of plan giving. It's only about impact now. I could kind of go both ways on that. I know personally the organizations that I really care about, the schools I went to, some things in our community. I want that sustainability. I want them to be here in the long term, and I understand the importance of endowment. But in general, you're kind of your generation. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think.
Sorry, is that a curve? I didn't mean to throw.
No, that's okay. It depends on the individual.
Okay.
We do like impact now, but you can make a case for that longer term support, especially if it's something like an endowed scholarship.
All right.
You can see it's a mix of the impact now and the impact later, and those are institutions that are a little bit more permanent.
All right.
But the other hard part of that right now is the higher ed situation today. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next few years.
Sure. All right. Thank you. That was again, I'm learning from you, so I appreciate this. Boards, or is that too old school?
No, I think so. I mean, personally, I sit on a few boards and I enjoy that. And
okay.
A few of my interviewees do as well, but a few others of them don't have time, especially with, a couple moms with young kids, and some people that just have really demanding schedules don't necessarily want that extra obligation.
All right. I'm going to throw a little role play on you and see if this, and maybe this will help some of the folks listening. So I am super gift officer for a super organization, and you have popped up as someone of high net worth and live in the community, but there's really no history of philanthropic support. I go to see you and you say, well, I have 3 kids. Support. I go to see you and you say, well, I have 3 kids. I'm running around. I have a career and we're doing this on the weekend and so what is the story to get you engaged philanthropically, or do I just run away?
No, I think you ask good questions.
Okay.
About what's important to me. And you tell me your why, right? Why is your mission important? How are you changing lives? Tell me stories about that. Millennials love stories. Everybody loves stories.
Okay.
And really good ways to, use storytelling and, conveying the mission of your nonprofit. But I would do that. And if there's a spark, if there's an interest, follow up, invite me to things, invite me to maybe come take a tour,
okay.
Really see that impact in action, I think is important.
All right.
And be transparent about why you're there, right?
Transparency seems to be important with
it really
millennials.
Is.
All right. Yeah. And that always, I don't think, was the case. Like there was this built-in automatic trust. Oh, the charity will do what's right. They still will do what's right, but I think it's on the charity to show why. What's your community benefit? What's your community impact? All right. So thank you for sharing the challenges. I kind of want to end this with a really, maybe it's interesting, 2-part question. The first being, this is the most ridiculous, miserable 10 months, or not 10 months, I guess I can't even add anymore, right? The past 3 quarters of 2020 have just been, what is your kind of, if you could put in, you could be the oracle, does 2021 look like for us from a insider pro? You're out there. What do you think is going to happen? And I promise I won't hold you to it. This is just I like to hear what different people are saying.
No, I think that the organizations that have found the opportunity in this time and reached out to maybe people they haven't traditionally reached out to via Zoom, new introductions, I think, and shown their donors that they really authentically do care about them and, been transparent about what's happening and what their needs are, and continuing to ask, continuing to do, I'm sure, what you tell your clients every day. the organizations that have done that and have done that with more people instead of just, sitting around and saying, oh, but COVID, those are going to be the winners. And
Absolutely.
there's an opportunity to do that. And if I were to give advice, I would say, look at your millennials, call them, ask them for a Zoom meeting. You may be the first one to do that. And there's opportunity in engaging early and engaging now. I have like 10 Zooms a day. It's with,
I know.
For, nonprofits. And I'll share that I give to a number of nonprofits, but the nonprofit that's been the best in this whole situation has reached out and asked for that. And we actually have a Zoom scheduled with them tomorrow. And just the fact that they took that sense of care. I mean, this individual just met us. It's an institution we have a history with, but we just met this gift officer in February, and he will likely come out our favorite. So
right, that's part of the fun. I mean, that absolutely. I can, interesting that you say that. Our family, we support across the board, different sectors. Since the beginning of COVID, the only organization that's reached out to us is my alma mater to set up a Zoom and talk. No one else has. I mean, even, I gotta whisper, but even like the places we're currently giving, like where our kids are in school now, you would think they would reach out. So that's a great point. And goes to show that even though we're consultants and we're telling everybody, make sure you're reaching out, make sure you're Zooming, not everybody's listening. So we still need to kind of hammer that point home all the time. So that was great. That was great. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course. No, I think it's there's opportunity. It's
absolutely.
There are so many opportunities, and the nonprofits we support are so important to us, right? And there's that emotional connection, and to find a way to engage with them in some way during this time is
why not
important for us, and it's important for them. It's mutually beneficial.
All right. Well, Sarah, this has been absolutely amazing for me. And one last thing then, words of Sarah wisdom to anybody out there on millennials that maybe we didn't talk about.
Yeah, I think bottom line is reach out, screen them, find them, reach out, be first, and I'll engage authentically, and you're going to win. Also,
I love that.
And every 12 to 18 months and show up not knowing anything and starting the relationship over. So if we can maybe solve that problem in COVID, that would be really great.
Those are the, I don't know what's the right answer. Those are that's the lotto of gift officers. If you could figure that, getting rid of mediocrity and getting people to stick around, you win as an organization.
Definitely.
All right. Well, Sarah, thank you very, very much. As a kind of a thank you from our firm to you for doing this, we are going to make a small gift to Catholic Charities in your name. So
thank you so much. That's
we
really kind.
appreciate that. And with that, thank you.
Thank you, David.
All right.